What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more solo Morrissey. Once again, big shout out to Seb, who's provided his material. We're still going through Kill Uncle 1991, and the next track is There's a Place in Hell for Me and My Friends, which, from other songwriters' pens, might sound especially negative or damning. The idea of bad actions or bad behavior leading to damnation, whether that's metaphysical or in terms of, the judgment of the world around. But in that regard, from Morrissey, it feels like maybe it could be more nuanced than the idea that, we're outsiders, maybe some people do condemn us or view us in a negative way morally, but it almost sounds like, well, there's actually one place where we belong, and that's in hell, and the narrator will be there with his friends, whether, again, you take that more supernaturally or otherwise. Now, it could be, again, about social judgment and how the narrator and his friends are being told that by other people, but yeah, it almost feels like accepting in the phrasing as I read it on the page. So yeah, again, coming from Morrissey's songwriting, I'm less inclined to see this as the negative it might otherwise be from most people, where it's like, there's a place in hell for you or for me because I've done something that's unforgivable. So let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Morrissey. The song is There's a Place in Hell for Me and My Friends. Oh, it says at KROQ version. Interesting. Well, again, I've told this story in many different deep dives and reactions, but I grew up listening to K-Rock here in Southern California, which is where I heard Depeche Mode and Erasure and Yazoo and all these groups, although we called them Yaz here in the US. But yeah, a lot of the 80s synth pop that I became fond of as a single-digit kid, I heard through K-Rock, and I think at the time K-Rock was, if not unique, certainly less common, because a lot of other American radio stations in the early to mid 80s were playing, and I guess this is 91, but yes, they were playing, pop rock and sort of, American pop artists and so on, whereas K-Rock was playing a lot of UK and European music. So yeah, I guess this is something he recorded at KROQ headquarters or something, so I'm very curious about that. But again, K-Rock, as we called it, was a very significant cultural phenomenon here in Southern California, and it is part of my experience of music as a youth. So in any case, this is Morrissey, There's a Place in Hell for Me and My Friends, and as I said, it's listed here as the at K-Rock version.
A bit more time and a few more gentle words, and looking back I won't forgive, and I never will, I never will, never will. All that we hope is when we go, our skin and our blood and our bones, they don't get in your way, making you ill. There is a place in hell reserved for me and my friends. And if ever I just wanted to cry, then I will, so I can, so I will. Oh, there is a place in hell.
shorter one. But yeah, the essence of the title seems to be more or less exactly what I was thinking, or at least one dimension of it. That is, it's a place he'll go with his friends, so he'll never be alone. So yeah, it is very telling that the idea of being condemned, but being in that state with another group of like-minded or similarly behaving individuals makes it actually a bit of a refuge or somewhere that he's not worried about going because at least he won't be alone. So yeah, very Morrissey songwriting, and I do wonder if there's a larger context here in terms of whether they are being condemned, by those, who are judging them or something based on their nature or their behavior or, their social position. But yes, it feels like there is an acceptance and even a willingness to be condemned in that way. I also do enjoy the Smith sound of this one. As I've gone through this solo Morrissey material, I've been, commenting on this one. Feels like it's actually different from a lot of the Smiths. So this one feels like it could be a Smiths tune. I would put this in that category. I feel like it could very well have been a Smiths track. But yeah, it does feel like, and indeed, as I know that Seb has provided. Okay, so it looks like this is the last one on the regular album, and then all the other tracks in here, and there's 9 additional tunes. They're non-album tracks or bonus tunes or B-sides, which are included most graciously by Seb. So that apparently was the final tune on the proper album. And yeah, I'm looking at the next title, the next one in the playlist, which is Journalists Who Lie. So we'll talk about that one next time. But yeah, again, this feels like it could be a Smiths tune, and just has that quality that Morrissey's songwriting provides, where it sounds like a complaint, and yet there's a resignation or an acceptance of this status. And yeah, so when you're saying that you won't be alone even if you get condemned, it feels like it's like wheelhouse, like center lane Morrissey songwriting. So in any case, another cool tune. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.